much for that terrific intro. I'd like to give a special thank you to the Coens for hosting me and giving me this opportunity to hopefully allow you guys to laugh either at me, but preferably with me. And I'd also like to give a special shout out, for our Memorial Day to all those of us who have served in the military or any of us that have had a loved one in the military. Thank you to all. So, to start it off, just a little bit about me. I'm Eric, I'm 18, I'm Russian, and you might not think that means a lot, but you would be wrong. It takes a lot to get yelled at in a language that other people don't really understand. And a lot of the people around me, they pick up snippets, not what they mean, just that I'm about to get yelled at after. So, the one that comes to mind is, "Иди сюда сейчас." And for all those of you who don't speak Russian, that means come here right now. And that's not followed by applause or congratulations. It's usually followed by, you didn't do this. So that's me, I'm Eric, and I got two great parents. I got my loving father, my great mom. And, continuing on where we're a little bit different than others. The American school system doesn't really recognize cultural differences between Russians and Americans. And, my father, he's a jolly guy. Learned about, health class, standard drinks. He probably has, 10 to 12 a week. But who's counting? And I learned that someone, like him, hardworking, has everything in check, but, drinks a lot. We call that a functioning alcoholic in America. You know what we call that back in Russia? A father.
And we love him. We function with him.
Exactly. So that's where the cultural differences don't seem to add up. Now my mother.
Oh.
The true matriarch of the house. Everything, T's are crossed, I's are dotted, all because of her. And she's a very by-the-book gal. And one story where we kind of, hand her off a little bit from that is when she was immigrating from France. She had a boyfriend that had a Vespa. For all those that are keeping track at home. I think his name was Philippe. We haven't gotten to the bottom of it. And she decided to get a fake ID because she was around 20. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense, so she could drink. But, you get older and you realize it's not 21 to drink in France. So I start to think, I ask her, why did you get a fake ID? And she says, so I can get into the museums for free. I was under 18. So that's her, going by the book, but pandering a little bit off. Now, going back to my father, he has a very unfortunate name, some might say. And his name isn't unfortunate because, it's ethnic, but because there's this American company, also called Roman, like he is. And you know what they deal with? Erectile dysfunction. And you would think maybe there's maybe the owner, the creator's name. No, his name's Zachariah. Literally, they just picked the name out of a hat, happened to be relevant. It was a tough draw. But, going back to Roman, the company, not my father, their commercials are just atrocious. They talk about how difficult a conversation erectile dysfunction is with your partner. And in my eyes, it seems like a fairly easy conversation. I know everything's hotly debated now, but it's a quick, I have erectile dysfunction. Okay. It's not like no, that doesn't work for me. We gotta make this work between the two of us.
I did not expect it.
Just so you realize, here's your target audience. He hasn't stopped laughing yet.
Now, some more stuff about me. I play ultimate frisbee. You know. Let's hold the applause for this. You know, the sport or hobby, depending on how hard you take it, that seemingly is just all for the Jews. I don't know, the tribe, when they were wandering around the desert 40 years, had a lot of time, started picking up discs, and just decided that, you know, this was going to be their thing. So, you know, playing frisbee, you know, you get made fun of a little bit, but the way I see it, I'd rather play around with plastic on a field than silicone in a bedroom.
AP Lane.
Now,
Killing it.
to go in, you know, I'm going to talk about some of my pet peeves. I feel like they're not too unique. Neighbors. What are we doing? You know, I love them at certain times. But when they're mowing the lawn at 8 in the morning on a Saturday, what are they doing? And I know, you know, they always give the excuse of, I want everyone to know that I'm a productive member of society. But when I hear someone mowing at 8 in the morning, I'm not thinking to myself, oh, there goes Jimbo. You know, he's really got his life together, mowing at 8 in the morning. The only thing I'm thinking of is, there's that scumbag that wants to wake everyone up before cartoons even start. You know, I have a lot of things, I'll keep it brief, that I'm not the biggest fan of. And this COVID thing, you know, we're on the back 9. It's been a pretty rough 15 months. Shout out to Nurse Cheryl. She was on the front lines administering the doses, you know, doing everything that she could. And, you know, it's been tough for some of us, some more than others. And glad we're here today to celebrate. You know, looking back, we'll laugh on it soon. You never know, though. And one thing is all these businesses using COVID as an excuse to just make more money. And, you know, I was at the lunch. They asked me what I wanted, and I said, I'm fine with water. And they said, we don't have tap water, we only have bottles. Where's COVID in that equation? Like, is Fauci delivering them a specific debriefing saying that COVID's in the water supply? Because I've never heard of that. And you know, the smart ones around us might be like, oh, well, it's important that we're not washing too many glasses due to COVID. But they're offering wine glasses to people over 21, and those people aren't going into the kitchen and washing them themselves when the dinner's over.
No.
So it seems that they're just looking to spend $1.50 on a water bottle, which is more, mind you, than it would be in New York City when it's 100 degrees and you're walking around. So, you know, moving on from the things that I hate, which, you know, not all of them have to hit. So one great thing that came out of COVID, very few of those, megaphone. Probably one of the greatest purchases of my life. You know, nothing says I'm ready to pick you up like a quick, excuse me, please exit the residence immediately. And it's usually followed by a quick, you know, nothing can beat it. Ringing a doorbell, not the same. Too inconvenient. Sending a text, too nonchalant. Megaphone, that's the Goldilocks solution. And another thing, great for when I get stopped by a police. You know, that's a real chess match. You know, they pull me over, they throw their sirens on. You know what I do? I throw mine on. You know, the confusion's mounting. They pull me over, you know, they take like a minute or two to get out of their car. I hit them with the quick, officer, please exit the vehicle immediately. Now what are they going to do? Are they going to listen to me? Because I'm a perpetrator. The only thing he's going to do, he's going to call back on his loudspeaker. And you know, the way I see it, would I rather have a face-to-face conversation during these times of COVID, or a conversation between a megaphone and a loudspeaker on a police officer? So I suggest everyone, you know, pick up a megaphone, Amazon, $13, and you too can get out of all your tickets, and you can invite everyone out of their house in the best way possible. I think it's very important that I reflect on my family because they are the ones who kind of brought me here and enabled me to blossom into the man that I am. And I don't think that there's... I don't think there's truly one story that can encapsulate everything that sums us up, but I'll give it a shot. So, one time, we were at a family friend's house for Rosh Hashanah. So there were a lot of, their family, and then we were there, so there was mutually connected people, but we didn't necessarily know them. So my dad is in line, he's getting himself some chicken, and he turns to the fine lady next to him and asks, "Would you like some chicken?" And she goes, "No, I'm vegetarian, actually." Normal response. Some people are vegetarian, that's fine. My dad, he's got to ask those questions. He's intellectually curious. And he says, "So what does that mean exactly?" And she goes, "I don't eat meat or animal products. But, when I go out to restaurants, the easiest way to describe it is I don't eat anything with eyes." So he puts his thinking cap on, and I can see it. And for the next 2 minutes, he's like, the cogs are turning, the gears are moving. And he's thinking, I see it, everyone else sees it. And 2 minutes later, he goes to the nice lady, he goes, "What about muscles?" And she goes, "My muscles? Excuse me?" And he's like, no, muscles. They don't have eyes, but they're an animal. So are you eating them or not?" And she says, "I don't know, I've never really thought about that." And she's like, "Well, seems like a very valid question. Because you said that you don't eat anything with eyes, but you also don't eat animals. So where do muscles stack up in the equation?" And everyone's thinking to themselves, what is that doing? Like, what was the purpose of that conversation? Everyone except my mom. And the look that she had, I'll never forget. She was thinking to herself, "Where's Philippe on that Vespa today?" So I'd like to thank you very much for taking the time to listen to me, and I hope laugh with me. Felt like it. So thank you very much, and I hope to be back soon at the Cohens, or hopefully, in parts unknown like the burgers.